Hi, I'm Johnny from UltimatePaperMache.com, and I just want to show you how the pieces on this guy go together. I actually cut the pieces out last night, and then I got up this morning and managed to tape it all together before the chickens got up. So this really doesn't take very long to put together, and all the pieces go on fairly easily. So it's just a matter of putting them on in the right order, and you really have a mask really pretty quickly. And he looks pretty cool, don't you think already? So let me show you how these pieces go together. First thing you want to do is stick the patterns to your cardboard. It's a cereal box cardboard called light chipboard, and these are full sheet labels. You can use a glue stick and just regular copy paper too, but the full sheet labels just work an awful lot easier. And then you just start cutting them out. Now, if you happen to have old hands like mine, you might want to look into these scissors. These are Fiskars, I don't know, Easy Action they're called. There's something about that spring. They look huge, kind of ridiculous almost, but they really do help take some of the strain off of cutting. Always want to soften the cardboard to make it bend a little bit easier. And then you always want to tape the darts together first. This particular one goes down, so there's a real strong bend right there. And then with 1 and 2, we're going to make his nostril. It's going to bend right here where that seam is. We're going to loosen it up and bring it around like that. See how it gives him kind of a sharp looking nostril? And we're going to do the other one, and then we'll put them together. 3 goes right above 1 and 2. And turn this one over and reinforce it on the back. 4 goes under 3 and behind 1. And turn it over so that I can match those curves. Start at the top. Six, 7, and 8 go right here on his lip. Comes right up against that short seam right there on number 1. And then you have to fold them down so that it'll fit underneath the this part. Seven goes on the other side. Number 8, just start at the front point of his lip. Push it back so it'll go into that space. And then just keep taping it all the way around. 9 and 10 are his cheeks. I'm taping it on the back, right here where these 2 points come together. Just reinforce it from the front. I'm going to turn it back over again. Pull that the very, very corner of his mouth. Just have to kind of pull it out like that. This is our last chance to fill in those nostrils. So we're going to take some aluminum foil, very loose and compact, And we're going to be putting it right inside of there and make kind of a dip instead of just a plain old hole. Of course, this is going to be completely covered with your paper mache. So it doesn't, if there are dips or cracks or, you know, if it just doesn't fill in everything, it really doesn't make any difference at all because that's going to be covered up. But we just want to kind of fill it in so it looks like a nostril instead of just a hole in his head. We'll just do the other side. 11 and 12 are his chin. Put the piece up there right in that corner. And now, although I don't think you can see me doing this probably, but I'm going to be taping it from the back, from the inside almost in this case. Just want to make sure that the pieces come together properly. Don't want any big gaps right there. So I'm putting the tape on the back and then turning it over again. Push them in, whatever it takes to get the curves to meet. And then reinforce them when you can on the other side, like that. I'm pushing the corner of his mouth right up there so it'll fit. Now I do 12 exactly the same way on the other side. Then you want to pull his chin together. Now we have kind of a pile of long skinny pieces. Those are going to be part of his eyebrow bone. And the first one here is actually, let's call it his eyelid. I don't know, it doesn't really, but close enough. But it goes right here, and only on this bottom straight line. So 15 goes right in that corner. Then 13 and 15 get taped together right along that sharp seam, that edge. And then we're going to pull this end so that it lines up with the edge of the mask. Should have a nice curve right there. Do 14 and 16 the same way. 17 goes over 15, and it starts with a square end right at the edge of the mask. $18 goes over here. Now we're going to put his ears on. It seems a little early, and they're kind of going to be in the way, but if we put them here now, we'll be able to tape them from both sides on this particular seam. Because this seam is still open, I can tape this real firmly on both sides. I'm going to do the same thing with the lower part. 20 goes in the same place right there, right in that corner. 21 and 22 are going to go into these spaces right above 17. And of course you've got the ears in the way now, so you can't see it quite as easily. But this will come right up to the edge of the mask. So it's kind of hiding behind 19. '22 goes over here. Again, we've got to do it from the back because otherwise you just can't see it. The curved edge goes towards the rest of the mask. We'll have a flat edge at the top. '23 and '24 are the weird kind of bumps that the horns will attach to. So we'll go ahead and tape up the long darts. Fits right into that triangle right there. And you want to turn it over so that it can meet up with the other curves, and it's going to fight. '24 goes into the little triangular space on the other side, obviously. The little round pieces, 25 and 26, fill in the back end of those horn bulges on 23 and 24, and just go ahead and tape those on so that the it completely covers in that hole with a flat edge right at the bottom. Piece 27 goes right in between pieces 23 and 24, and you will need to start taping it from the back in order to get that to fit in there properly. Got 28 here, and I'm putting this corner right on that little triangle. Kind of hiding behind the ear. 29 goes on the same way. The curved bits go towards the mask and the flat part goes towards the cap. Tape the really long darts on pieces 30 and 31 together first, and then tape the two big pieces together to make both halves of the cap that goes on the back. And once you have all that taped together, which is a lot easier to do, by the way, if you lay it down flat on upside down on the table, it kind of helps you pull the seams together. And then after that's done, go ahead and attach it to 28 and 29. It is going to be really awkward. It kind of flops around and it's hard to hold it in place. It's not difficult to tape it on there if it would hold still, but for some reason it won't. If you happen to have somebody to help you hold things down, that would be really nice. Now you can try on the mask and see if it'll fit. If it is way too big, you can overlap the back seam right at the back bottom area of the cap. But don't make it too small. The paper mache is going to shrink just a little when it dries. And you might also want to be able to wear a knit cap under it, just because if you're wearing this out at Halloween, it might be just a little bit cold. A knit cap under it also really helps keep the mask in place so that you don't have to tie it down. So now we need some horns, and I'm going to make mine out of aluminum foil. You probably are too. So how I'm doing it here, it's going to make a lot of noise. I'm taking out a long piece. I'm thinking it's about 3 feet long. And fold it in thirds. and then go up. Yay. And I already made one. I'm trying to, yep, they're about the same. Good. Now it's not real smooth, obviously, but it's extremely strong. Now you can play around with, you know, the shapes, the lengths, how much twist you get. I mean, just play with the horns. And then stick them on as well as you possibly can with some masking tape. Masking tape will stick to the foil much better than your plastic tape does. Wouldn't hurt to give it just a few drops of hot glue right there too. And once you're pretty sure you got one of them on where you want them, go ahead and put the other one on. Now once you have them taped on, it's pretty easy to see whether or not there's some really big differences. This one appears to be a lot fatter right here than this one. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of foil. Just going to thicken it up just to make it match. Of course, we're going to reinforce this really well with some paper mache strips and paste. Put him on an oatmeal box because I was getting a little tired of fighting with him. So now I'll find out if I like the spikes or not. The bottoms, you know, I couldn't curve them exactly the way they would fit where you want to put them because I don't know where people are going to want to put the spikes, or if you want any spikes at all. So you would have to do a little bit of fiddling. I think I'll try it right here. You're right at the beginning of the horn things. If you want spikes, but you want a different shaped spike, just go ahead and cut your own. So now if you've gotten this far, you know that it's really just a matter of putting one layer of paper mache strips and paste on here and then painting them. I'm going to use brown paper that I get from Amazon boxes, but newspaper would work well too. I am going to use the Titebond 3 wood glue for my paper strips and paste because it makes a really strong mask. It holds everything together, it reinforces all of those seams, and it dries really quickly. So that's what I'm going to use. In the next video, I'll show you how it looks when it's painted.